Welcome to another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today I'm so excited to have on a 37-year-old from Oskarshamn, Sweden. His hockey journey has taken him for sure to Sweden, China, Russia, Switzerland, and wherever else the Champions Hockey League and Team Sweden and the World Juniors took him. Ran amok for 3 years with the junior program in his hometown of Oskarshamn, and then promptly made the jump to pro with hockey club Vita Hästen, and ran such amok earned his way to the Swedish Elite League in 2 short seasons with the Malmo Redhawks. Jumped back in bed with Vita Hästen for the 2021 season, and then headed to the KHL and China with the Kunlun Red Stars, earning his way onto the bench with Team Sweden in the World Juniors and took home a bronze medal. And now for the past 2 seasons, he's been running a tidy and neat equipment game with one of the biggest clubs in Europe, Frolunda. Welcome to the shed, Andy Fagerström.
Thank you so much. Honoring to be here.
Thanks for making the time. And I always say shed guys know shed guys. We ended up in Sweden today because Moose, or Maxi, who was just on, he shared what we did in here in the shed, and you wrote, "That's my guy." And I know shed guys know shed guys, and if you're saying that's your guy, then you're my guy.
Yeah, for sure. I wanted to be like a shed guy too.
Right? It's a thing.
Yeah, Moose is the best guy for sure.
He is.
He's one of the best guy I ever met.
Yeah, no, like he gets hockey. He's passionate about it, and he has his brother's backs, and he knows how to build a hockey culture. I would love for him to be my equipment guy, you know?
Me too. I told him, like, if you ever want to come to Sweden, let me know. I would for sure bring him over.
Well, you've had quite the rise in the equipment game, man. I find it interesting watching you equipment guys, because personally, I was thinking about this. I don't think any of the players understand how much say the equipment guys actually have in the hockey world and how connected you guys are.
We're like a big family. Doesn't matter what league, what country, whatever. You're always know a guy somewhere.
Yeah, and you guys are like a team, and you guys will help each other. It's like if you forget something on the road, the other team's got your back, right?
Every time.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And then the other way we know each other is, another equipment guy, my favorite equipment guy in the world, Dease.
Dease, that legend. He's a great guy too.
Oh, he's something.
He must be one of the sickest guys in our work.
Some people, there's people think whatever about equipment guys. You stay up all night, you travel all night, you set up all this stuff for the guys, you don't ask for anything in return. But Dease, you're right, he's a sicko. See, there's some of you guys that are trying to bring the professionalism to the game, right? And then there's Dease running around, making a bad name for kit guys everywhere.
But we love him. It's like that brother that you have to take care of.
I know, and I've been taking care of him for years. After I left Cardiff, I wrote his reference letter when he got signed by Manchester, which now throws chocolate after they win, folks. And now I'm part of the Storm family too. But then I get a call from Graz, Austria's coach, and it was a reference for David Owen. I'm like, who the hell's David Owen?
Who's David? We only know him by this.
But I think it's fun when you can give a guy a reference and just tell the truth. And I was like, well, it depends what kind of locker room you want, because he's gonna chirp everybody, and he loves the game, he loves the boys, but he's gonna keep everybody in check and make sure everybody's having fun, even the linesmen. We'd be playing games, and I first get to Cardiff, and I don't really know what I'm getting into. And our equipment guy is squirting the linesman like down his back when he's bent over by our bench. He'd like squirt water down his pants.
And that's a part of our job. You have to have a good relationship with everybody, even the refs.
Yeah.
Even if you want to chirp the ref, you can chirp him, but then your best buddy is outside.
Yeah, you have to be in that game for sure. Yeah. And the refs aren't bad guys. I got lots of friends that are refs now.
Yeah, they are the best too. But you
I hated
It's
them when I
definitely
played
the
though.
fun thing. Yeah, every time during the game you yell at them, but then you
Mhm.
take a beer after.
Yeah. And that's what I liked about playing in the UK was after the game you could end up having a beer with the ref in the bar in the arena after and discussing issues that happened.
That would never happen in Sweden, I promise you that.
I'm pretty sure it happened back in the old Big Blue tent in Cardiff.
Yeah, yeah, back in the days maybe.
But anyways, when you wrote, that's my guy, I'm like, well, who are
Yeah,
you? So then I clicked on
yeah.
you and I saw your hockey stuff and I saw the coolest barn I've ever seen. And I'm like, whoa, where is this? And who's this guy? And he knows Maxi. And
Yeah,
I thought it was
yeah,
in Sweden, but that's the Davos Arena in Switzerland, eh?
yeah. That was during the Spengler Cup this year. We
You
were
were there
down there
this year,
playing,
eh?
so yeah, it was the best experience I ever had in hockey. I promise you.
And Moose gets to do that this year. He's going
Yeah,
with Straubing.
I text him right away like that's gonna be the best thing ever for you. It's so cool down there.
Oh, and that
It's
arena is cool, eh?
oh man, complete wooden building. It's unbelievable, unbelievable building, and the fans, atmosphere, everything. That was the best thing I ever done.
That's cool. How'd
So,
you guys do in it?
we lost the semifinals against Davos,
Ah,
so we went out, but we went out with the bag. We went to OT and they scored.
yeah, yeah, well, he gave her everything right, and you're right there.
Yeah,
That would be
so
fun though. So that's right over the holidays because we all watch that here in Canada.
yeah, I met Joe Thornton there over there. I met another great guy there, AJ Murley was the equipment guy for Team Canada too.
AJ
So
Murley.
yeah, one guy to look up.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
if you're saying he's a good guy, he probably is.
he's a good guy. Shed guys know shed guys.
They do. That's how all this works. We're nearly at episode 400.
Yeah,
And shout out to the gals that just came on from under 16 Team Great Britain. Millie was just named captain of Team Great Britain. That's pretty cool. Way to go, gal, right?
Good for her. Good for her.
Jed family running amok.
Yeah.
So one of your poster picks, I just had a giggle because I met him too. Sergei Fedorov.
Yeah, that was actually in when I worked in Russia. We had a preseason tournament there, Majors Cup, and the goalie coach was the best friend of Sergey because they've been working together in Siska before. And I'm a huge Red Wings fan. I've been a Red Wings fan since I was 7 years old because of Lidstrom.
Yeah.
And I was like standing there sharpening the skates, and then someone knocked on my shoulder. Turned around. I never been that starstruck ever in my life. There he was, Sergey Fedorov, reaching out like, "Hey, I'm Sergey." I was like, "I know."
Yeah. So,
So
my story with him is, well, I'm a small town guy. Played in my hometown junior, go to Western Michigan University in Kalamazoo. And, I've never really been around the NHL, never been around those players, but like watching it growing up, being a hockey fanatic was the Red Wings,
yeah,
Stevie Yzerman, Fedorov with those
yeah,
black and white skates. I mean, who didn't think those were sexy, right?
that
Um,
was the best.
right. And then I go after my college career to Syracuse and they say, we want first crack at signing you July 1st, but we want to see him first. So then I go there and I don't play good and they don't give me my sticks and I got a different curve and I sucked. And they say, well, we don't want to sign you, but they guaranteed me an AHL deal. So then I end up having to take that to an organization that doesn't want me, but I get to go to main camp. They didn't even invite me to the rookie camp and I was a rookie. But I go straight to main camp for 48 hours, then they cut me. But I'm there getting ready to do the fitness test. And I get on the stationary bike, and then Sergey Fedorov walks over and gets on the bike beside me. And I was like, what? What is happening here?
Yeah,
And I'm sitting beside him on the bike, like just nervous as hell. Like I couldn't talk, I couldn't bike. I was just like he was dating like Anna Kournikova at that point, and I was like,
yeah.
I'm beside you on a bicycle.
That was what I was feeling too when he knocked. I was like, "What am I doing here with Sergey Fedorov?"
And
Talking
that's
to
what I
him
was
like in
thinking
the
when I got to
hallway.
Columbus
Yeah,
Blue Jackets training camp. I'm like, what am I doing here with Sergey Fedorov and Rick Nash?
yeah. It was so surreal. It was surreal feeling.
I didn't get to stay long.
Yeah, but you got to bike together with Sergey.
Right? And I kept the thing you put like your tape and your scissors in your bag, like your
Yeah.
little bag. I got a Columbus Blue Jackets one, and now my kid uses that, and I think it's pretty neat, right? Because I did get
Oh,
to a
that's
training
cool.
camp.
Yeah, for sure. You
Yeah,
were there.
I was there, and
Yeah.
I remember a guy saying to me before I went, he's like, you don't know how many of these you're going to get to go to. So there's a lot of free stuff hanging around, t-shirts, stuff. And he's like, you got to get some stuff. So then I see a
Yeah.
box of all this Columbus Blue Jacket shirts and not one of them fit me. They were all way too big. So I still have one, but it's like 5 times too big. I guess I was the little guy there, you know?
Yeah.
What are you
I'm
going to do?
like doing that too. We have a couple of guys from Frolunda who plays in Red Wings right now, like Raymond, Simon Edvinsson, Elmer Söderblom. Every summer, like, bring some stuff home, bring some clothes home.
Yeah. No, clothes matters, man. Like I didn't get any free, I didn't have any new clothes for like 8 years when I finished playing hockey. And now that I started the shed, I've got like a Manchester Storm hat. I got Team Great Britain clothes. I got Jackson Hole Moose clothes.
Yeah.
I got all sorts of clothes coming my way. And like now I got a new wardrobe again. It's pretty cool.
I'm gonna try to send you some Frölunda clothes.
I would love
Send you
some
over some.
Frolunda stuff. I
Yeah.
would wear it with pride because now that I know you, you guys are officially my favorite Swedish Elite League team.
Oh,
You know?
perfect. Thanks. I'm gonna send you over some clothes then.
Please, I will wear them in the shed. I will wave the flag. One of your poster pics, that's got to be your home barn from up top looking down at the fans. That looks
That's the
like a,
home barn in Gothenburg, Frölunda.
man, that looks
It's
like a
called
sweet barn too.
yeah, it's called Scandinavium. I think it's like 40 years old or something, but it's a really cool barn.
Old
It
barns are the
reminds me of
best.
was it Saddle Dome, the old Calgary barn,
Yeah,
with like a the roof is like different
sloped.
weights, slopes. Yeah,
Right. It's like a
takes like
almost like a little U, like a
yeah, exactly. It takes like 12,000 people in the barn, so it's awesome.
12,000
It's
people.
yeah, we had like I think it was like 13 sold out games this year, and we have 26 home games. So almost 50% was sold out.
That'd be loud, eh?
Yeah, it's so loud. The whole playoff was so loud too. It was crazy games.
And
So
I research team got a little hot, so you guys lost in the semis in game 7.
yeah, game 7 against the
Yep.
Skellefteå. They went all the way and won the game, won the gold here.
And you lost in game 7 to them. That sucks. What was the
That
score?
sucked. I think the score in game 7 was like 3-1 or something. So we ran out of gas in the last game. We had a couple of bad injuries, some first center and one of our big PK guys.
Yeah.
So
Man, that's
we didn't have
playoffs.
the
There's
enough.
a lot of injuries, man, and it's
Yeah.
tough when you
So
get through in those series. So is it all
yeah,
best of 7 all the way through?
best of 7. We went to 7 games in the quarterfinal, beat Leksand, and then we went to game 7 in semi, and we didn't have the gas in game 7. So
Yeah.
they won fair and square. So
Yeah. Well, small world for you is my favorite Swedish player is Joakim Lindstrom, and he's like a legend for Skellefteå, isn't he?
yeah, that's true. He's a big legend. He's one of the top players in all time up there. I think he
Yes.
has like all the records up there.
So I played with him in Syracuse my brief time there, but he was one of
Yeah,
like the top line guys. And just watching him in
yeah.
practice and watching what he could do, and I was like, holy moly, you got some mitts on you.
He was one of the best Swedish guys when he was on top, for
Wish I could
sure.
track that guy down and convince him into the shed, eh?
Yeah, I can see what I can do next year.
Was like I grew up a Leafs fan, and then like you play with a guy in Syracuse, and then he ends up playing for the Toronto Maple Leafs right after, and you're like,
Yeah.
I know him.
I will see what I can do. Maybe I can get his phone number or something for you next year.
Yeah, no, seriously. Maybe we'll get right into the Swedish thing, right? I've only talked to a couple
Yeah.
Swedish guys so far, you know? Anywho,
I saw you had one Swedish player before, right? Jesper or something?
Jesper Orval.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know him, but I saw the name.
So fun fact was I get chocolate thrown on the ice in Manchester, England. And actually sponsored their captain this year, and he cruised around with my logo on the back of his jersey. But Jesper was there, and I had him on, and he asked for Yaps, the chocolate bar from Sweden.
Yeah, yep.
And Manchester fans ordered them from Sweden and then threw them on the ice for him.
That's pretty funny.
Isn't that fun? That's hockey.
Yeah, that's really fun.
So, more of your poster picks brought to you by Freeman Designs in Cardiff, Wales. Nice posters he makes, eh?
Yeah, really nice.
Yeah. Thank
Was
you, Lee.
awesome.
Thank you for everything. He's done like 400 of them. Let's see here, though. Who's the guy you're holding up like a package of candy or something? It's called Super Suit.
You don't recognize that guy?
Should I?
Yeah, you should.
Shoot.
That's Alexei Kovalev.
Is it?
Yeah, he was the assistant coach in Kunlun.
I have that. The
Together when I
research
was
team
there.
found that. So I
Yeah.
was curious about that. He was the assistant coach when you were in China.
Yep, that's right. So I brought over some candy, and one of my buddies works in a newspaper here in my hometown, and he loves that candy. So he wanted to know what Kovalev thought about it. So I gave him some, and he liked it. It was really sour candy.
Yeah.
So
I should have recognized him. He was quite the player there back in the day.
yeah,
What was he like as a coach? Was he like the skills guy?
Yeah, he was like an assistant offensive coach and also skills coach.
Yeah.
Really nice guy. Really nice guy. I had nothing but the best to say about him.
Well, then we may as well keep going with the small world then. And that team in China, Greg Squires was on the team, shed guy.
He's the reason I went there.
Really?
Actually. Yeah, he played here in my hometown. I think it was around 2014. I got to know him there. We had each other on Instagram, been texting back and forth, and then he texted me like, "What you doing next year? Do you have a job?" Like, no, nothing. I just left Vita Hästen. We're looking for a guy to Kunlun. You want me to talk to the GM? So he actually brought me over to Kunlun.
Really?
Yeah, shed guys know shed guys.
Yeah, and he's a Western Michigan Bronco,
Yep,
like myself.
Yep. So he's the reason I went to KHL, actually.
Well, that's really cool. That's a small world, eh?
Yeah, really small.
And I played against him in the second league in Germany, and I was there. I was like one of the guys that's been in the league for a while, not going anywhere. And then he shows up, this young punk out of college, and started skating faster than me and scoring more than me. And I'm like, you little punk. And then sure enough, he ended up in Bietigheim right after, and I was asked to kindly leave.
He took your spot.
Pretty much, yeah. Way to go, Greg. Okay, next poster pick is with Maxi. Where was that? That Champions League?
The Champions Hockey League last year. We played Straubing. I can't remember if it was I think it was the quarterfinal. I think. If it was this, what do you call it in English? I can't find a word. Before the quarterfinal. What's that?
Is that a thing?
Yeah, like
the group stage?
Stanley Cup. No, it was the playoff stage. The first playoff stage.
Oh, okay. So it was like whoever wins goes on and whoever loses is out?
The winner goes to the quarterfinal.
Okay. Did you play home and home, or what was it?
Home and away, 2 games. Yeah. And then they put the score together. So we beat Straubing. We beat Straubing, and then we went on to the quarterfinal. That's how I got to know Moose.
Right. Because you guys were competing against each other.
Exactly. Brothers off the ice. Computers on the ice.
Yeah. Do equipment guys ever get chirping each other?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We do. But it's all love. It's all love.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, chirping it's actually sometimes out of love, right?
Yeah. It's pure love. The harder chirping, the more love.
Yeah, I totally agree. If I'm not chirping you, that's because, I actually don't like you.
Yeah, exactly. The more chirping, the more love it is. That's how it is.
So the next poster pick, you got the IIHF trophy. And if they ever want to listen to me in my shed, make it a cup so people can drink out of it. Anyways, It's just a trophy. You can't drink out of
Yeah.
it. But is that the
No,
bronze?
that's the bronze. Actually, that's
Yeah, I guess you
the
wouldn't drink out of a bronze anyways. You don't have to keep those ones.
no,
Cups.
no. Just took it and then went out. But that was actually the postponed world, junior world that
Yeah.
it was supposed to be in Red Deer Edmonton first, and then I postponed it because of COVID. So we played it during the August, next August
And where was it?
in Edmonton in Rogers Place.
Right.
So
Um, the World Juniors is a big deal here, man.
yeah, same here. I was looking at the final here. They actually played the final in our hometown in Scandinavian in Gothenburg.
Really.
Sweden, US now
And people
played.
from my hometown or where I'm living now, Kincardine, I know
Yeah,
families that flew to Sweden for vacation to watch the World Juniors, and they were there.
it was a big thing over here too.
Yeah, it is a big
But
thing. And there's some
fuck,
players in that tournament, isn't there?
yeah, really good players. We had 3 of our guys were in the Sweden's team. Otto
It,
Stenberg, David Edström, and Isaac Bourne
like they
were
made the
playing for
men's
Sweden.
team?
No, the junior team.
Oh, you mean from your team where you are now?
Yeah, from
Frolunda.
Frolunda.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I looked at the roster from the World Junior team. There is only 2 kids that don't have NHL logos beside their names.
exactly.
Yeah.
We had a really good team when I was away with them.
Yeah. So you
So
lost in the semis to who?
Finland,
That one would have
and they
hurt,
went
eh?
on. They went on. Yeah, that's big rivalry.
Yeah.
So they went on and played Canada. I think it was in the final. They had McTavish and Bedard. They were like they were doing whatever they wanted.
Oh,
So
so you were there and you were watching Bedard play.
yep, he had a cage on and McTavish, and they were like outstanding that year.
Yeah, I
So
remember McTavish. I remember him making like a play, knocking it off the goal line or something to save the game or something, right?
exactly like midair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
He seems like a gamer.
it was so good that year. Fuck.
That would have been pretty cool to be a part of, huh? And be a part of Team Sweden. Was that the first
Yep.
time you were a part of Team Sweden?
Yeah, first time they wanted me. They called me and asked me if I wanted to go for that postponed one during the August there during the summer. So I
Surely
had
you're
to
not going to say no to
ask.
that.
No, I wanted to go, but at the same time I had to ask my club Frölunda for permission because they were like preseason tournament for us,
Right.
and they didn't hesitate. They were like, "Go, of course you're gonna go."
Yeah, you got to let your boys fly.
Yeah. So we went over, spent August in Edmonton, played the World Juniors, and brought home the bronze.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. 1 second. Game back on. It's okay. What were we talking about? The World Juniors.
The World Juniors, I think.
Okay, I had a question about that though, when the research
Yeah,
team got hot. Why would Team Sweden have an assistant coach that is Canadian?
Todd Woodcraft.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he helped out in the men's team, like during an Olympic tournament or something. He knew some guy. I think he knew like Garpele before or something. So
It's
they
all
brought
about
him
who you
over.
know in hockey, isn't it?
Exactly. So we had him on the coaching staff. We also had Jason. He was the scout or video coach for the Oilers. He went on to be our scout, and then the guy next to me holding the medal there is Sam Jarin. He's the one of the equipment guys in the Jets in the
Oh,
NHL.
really?
So the Todd knew him from when he was working in Winnipeg. So he brought Sam over to help me out as my assistant.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's another guy you should call.
And
Awesome guy.
which teams you with?
He's with the Winnipeg Jets. I think he's like the fourth or fifth equipment guy there, helping out the away team and doing packing and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Sam Jarin, really good
Yeah.
guy too.
Once you get in with the NHL teams, right, and show you got the work ethic
Yeah,
and you know what you're doing, you could go anywhere.
yeah. So it was really nice working with him. Nice
Well,
get now, a really good guy.
you equipment guys, man, you guys can get some good setups, eh? Like, so for Frolunda, you're back again next season?
Yep, I have one more year left on my contract
And
there.
you're in the room right now?
No, I'm actually in my hometown right now, Oskarshamn.
Oh, okay.
So
It looked like you were
that
in an
is,
arena.
I am in the equipment guy room here in their
Oh, Oscar
hometown,
Sam, yeah.
Oskarshamn.
I
So I
know
was
some
out
guys that
golf.
played there.
Yeah,
Trying to think. Anyways, it's slipping my
yeah.
mind, but I do know guys that played
So
there.
I was actually out on the golf course with the equipment guy here in Oskarshamn. So I asked him, "Can I borrow your room for the podcast?" And he said, "For sure."
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I'm here. It's door closed and no one can bother me
So
here.
and they're in the second league?
Yeah, they got relegated this year. Actually, they've been up in SHL for I think it's 4 or 5 years.
Is that right?
So they got relegated and went down to the second league for next year.
No, that's a big deal over there, isn't it? Getting
Yeah,
relegated.
yeah. Every year one team goes down and one team goes up.
Yeah. My old team at Bietigheim in Germany, they went
Yeah.
well, I won a championship there, and then 4 years later, they decided to make changes. Didn't want me back when they got money again. But anywho, they went from the DL, got relegated last year to the second league, and then sure enough got relegated again this year. So they went from the first league to the third league in
Oh,
2 years.
fuck, that hurts.
That's a tough bounce. And they got like
That's
a
a tough
big
one.
fancy arena for like the first league, and now they're in the
Yeah.
third league. I'm not
That's a tough
laughing.
one.
I'm not laughing.
I can laugh for you.
Well, it's funny because it happened like so. My last puppy that was still on the team, they he moved them up to the DL. He retires. They retire his jersey, and then the
Yeah.
next year they get relegated, and then they get relegated again. And none of my puppies were on the team anymore. And it's like, well, I guess
Well,
I, I, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this. Anywho, so you lived in China for the KHLA, so that was kind of like a big break you got there from Greg Squires, right? Because you had already been in the.
actually, we never went to China actually because it was COVID. So China was closed. So we lived in Moscow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was the COVID year, after the COVID year. So we had our base in Moscow. So because the borders to China was closed because of COVID.
Right.
So I never stepped on there.
Right. Well, I was going to ask how it was living there. I guess I can't ask you that because you
No,
never did. I was
you
living in
can't.
Moscow.
I was wonderful. I fucking love that city.
Really, I've heard
Yeah,
good things.
one of the best cities I ever been in, actually.
Like for things to do, see,
Things to do, see, like
eat.
restaurants,
Yeah,
shopping, partying, like everything was. It was
whatever you
awesome.
want.
Everything I wanted, you could do there. That was awesome.
That is awesome. That'd be fun. And I saw you got a little fellow. Was that your son on the bench with you looking at warm-ups?
No, no, a lot of guys thinks that, but that's actually one of our girls in the office, her son.
Mm. You could
So
tell that kid was really soaking it all in.
yeah, he loves hockey. He's always down there when there's no preschool for him and watching practices, high fiving with the guys. And so I brought him down to be during the warm ups one game, and he still talks about it.
Yeah. I'm sure he would because those memories for kids, man, those are the days they never forget, right? And it can
Exactly.
turn them into a hockey kid.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
if he's not going to be a good player, it's going to be a good equipment guy for sure.
That's right. And if you're in the game, you're in the game, right?
Yep. Exactly.
I mean, you're at the Spengler Cup, Champions League. I mean, you don't have to play the game to be a part of it.
No, that's the best part of being the equipment guy. I sucked as a player, so I become a pro in a different way.
And I can't play hockey anymore, and I'm trying to be a pro in the game a different way too.
Yeah, yeah, that's always are the good ways.
Yeah,
Stay in the
and I
hockey.
actually coach kids now. And fun fact, my red hat is from winning all Ontarios. We won it all. We won our Stanley Cup.
Oh,
And
congrats.
this coaching thing, I don't have to sweat. I don't have to get slashed, body checked. I don't have to get body shamed for having a bad body
No.
anymore. I can look like I do, and still be effective in the game.
Perfect. It's like being an equipment guy. The better dad body you have, the better equipment guy you
Right. Yeah,
have.
it is part of the game. It's like
Yeah.
if you want to be an equipment guy and you're in there working out and stuff, you're not an
No,
equipment guy.
no. You're not in the right space then.
No. I actually did go watch the Islanders to watch Tom Kuhnhackl from Landshut, Germany, where I played with my son. And the one thing I noticed was actually how fit their equipment guy was. It really threw me off.
I can't be a really equipment guy then.
No, he's way too serious.
Yeah, I wouldn't like him.
But another way I could tell you were a shed guy and you were the type of equipment guy I want was, I think it was on your Insta when I got creepy, but one player comes to the bench and I could tell it's something you guys do every game. He grabs the water bottle, throws it to you. He grabs his own. You
Yep,
guys cheers, and then he goes and warms up again.
yep. That's our routine every game, every game.
Oh, I could tell you did it every game.
Yeah. That's Carl Klingberg, brother of John Klingberg.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's our routine.
Oh, yeah. No, that was a cool routine. I like that.
Yeah, every time.
How
All
did that
players have
start? Who
like
started that one?
he actually started it.
Yeah. But I
He
could
went
tell what the
over.
players think of you when they're doing that with their equipment guy, because
Yeah,
I've been on teams where the equipment guy isn't like that and you don't have pregame rituals with him. You're like,
no,
just leave me alone and you leave me alone and I'll go play
exactly.
hockey.
I think I have 4 guys doing different routines every warm up with me. So that's really funny. That
That
means
and that
something.
that makes hockey fun.
Yeah, you're
Hmm.
being a part of the family.
Yes, I agree. And that's what
So
teams need with equipment guys, right?
yeah,
Um, Anyways, the next poster pick is back to that Davos arena, I think. You're under the scoreboard and there's nobody else around. What a picture that is.
yeah. Me and my colleague actually drove down from Gothenburg to Davos with all the gear in our van. So we came down in Sweden. We celebrate Christmas on 24th of December. So we came down Christmas Eve and unload, did the setup in the locker room, and then I had the janitor there taking a picture of me on the empty ice and empty stands.
There's not many people in the world that have that photo.
No, so that's a great one. I love
Yeah.
that arena. So
And so nobody else was there except you and the janitor.
me and the janitor and my colleague. So
And that's what equipment guys do, man. When all the other guys go to bed or are having their Christmas,
yeah,
you guys are in the room making it happen for the fellas.
exactly.
Yeah, I
That's the
remember
best
I
part of
remember
being
Dease in
a
Cardiff, man. Dease in Cardiff, we'd show up in Scotland and he had drove all night and then he's sleeping on the floor of the locker room,
yeah.
but everything is exactly how it's supposed to be. And you're like, you're an animal.
That's actually the best part of being an equipment guy. That's doing the setup. Doing the setup in the room, make everything like perfectly for the boys.
Make it look hockey.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
giving them the best possibilities to be the best players
Yeah. To win. Yeah.
to win. Yeah,
Yeah. When you walk in and you see the room and it looks good, you're like, oh yeah, we're
yeah,
here to play.
exactly. So it's that's the best part with this job.
Um, And the other picture then is you standing in front of like the cool Russian building. I don't know what they're called.
No, I
They're,
don't know what it's called either, but that was my first day in Moscow. I wanted to take a picture of it, like
yeah,
in front of the big famous building there.
yeah,
So
that was a cool photo too. And isn't
yeah,
it amazing where hockey can take you, even when you weren't even good at playing?
exactly.
You should see
That's
you should see how bad Deese is. I've played with him a couple times. Terrible.
you know what? I can see us looking at this picture that he sucks.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you just have to watch him waddle around the arena and you're like, yeah, you can't play. But he tries to tell you he can, and he tries to tell you he actually played pro, and you're like, okay, bud.
No, no way, no fucking way, man.
Seriously, he tries.
I
He says he
played
played
like.
like half a season for the Devils, and I'm like, okay, so you sat on the bench and chewed tobacco. Okay.
Did he even get changed?
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't
he
know,
was
man.
just in the stands.
He tried to blame it on a knee injury all the time. I'm like, dude, this has nothing to do with your knee.
uh, you know what? If you blame on an injury, you suck. I knew I sucked. That's why I stopped playing when I was like 20.
So you did play though, eh?
A little when I was young. Then I
Yeah.
quit because I sucked. I could just hit people and fight, so that's what I could do. Now I play beer league hockey back in Gothenburg and like Division 4 hockey,
Yeah.
like
So
the
then how did
lowest.
you get into the equipment game? Because you started with the under 18s in your hometown. How do you
Yeah,
start?
that's a funny story. Uh, I grew up like in the stands. My grandpa was in the board for the hometown, so I started like as a small guy, being standing in the stands. Because here in Sweden we have stands like cheering for the people. It's not like in North America.
Where you
And then I
stand the
went,
whole game?
yeah, and screaming all the time.
Drums,
Uh,
flags.
yeah, yeah, everything.
Hmm.
And I think I was out like in a nightclub or something out on the pub here in my hometown, and I met a few guys there. Started like, doing tequila shots with them,
That
having some
sounds like a
beers.
story.
Yep, blacked out. The next day, I woke up to a text on my phone like, "Don't remember what you promised me yesterday." I was like, "What the fuck did I promise yesterday? Who did I promise this to?" So I texted him back, "I'm sorry, but I can't remember what I promised or who you are." And he texted me back like, "Oh, no worries. I understand that after all the tequila shots, but I'm the chief for the junior part in Oskarshamn. You promised me to be the equipment guy for the 18 team." So I'm like, "Okay, let's do it."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess if you said you're going to do it, you got to do it, right?
Yeah, I had to do it. I promised him. So I went down,
But if
had a
you
meeting
always
with
loved
him.
hockey and you always liked being around it and
Yeah,
you'd stop playing, it's like, so I can be part of a team. It's like me coaching now. It's like these kids
exactly.
are under 13s, but it's like they're my friends now in town. It's like they come over to play with my son and they're going to go play basketball. I'm like, well, I'll play
Yeah,
because you guys are my buddies now.
exactly. So, and my first year, I was actually working as a truck driver here in Sweden. So I had to take my free time to do the work in the at the rink. So I
Yeah.
went down like after shifts during the nights, sharpening the skates, doing the laundry, working for free first year.
It was totally
So
free, totally
totally free.
voluntarily
Yeah, yeah, first
because of a
year.
drunken promise.
Yep. But
And now
I'm
look
still
at you.
look at me now. That's a fun part because all the players that were in the team, they always text me like, "You're the only guy who made it, and you're the equipment guy."
Well, so Deese's story and how weird it's turned out that like he's made it now and like he's in Graz and he's in with Team Austria for the World Championships was when I got to Cardiff, we had a different equipment guy and he maybe didn't have the camaraderie with the fellas and maybe wasn't as happy to be there as you need to be. Um, and Deese was in between jobs and he was literally working in the pro shop with the guy that ran the pro shop, Corky. He was just his help router guy. He was actually just there drinking coffee. He literally was doing nothing. And then the team was like, well, what are you doing? Do you want to try and be the equipment guy? And he's
Yeah.
like, sure. And now look at him.
It's funny how like what parts like brings you over to certain stuff.
Yeah. And
It's
where it can take
unbelievable.
you.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, and it's like
Like
looking back on my career, and you see a bunch of guys that played in the coast for a few years and whatever, and then they get out of the game. It's like after 1 year in North America, when I was still pretty young, to make the decision like I wasn't going to make it and go to Germany, and then to get to do all the different things I did. It's like, well, if I wouldn't have gone when I did and had the opportunity, who knows what would have happened, right? Like hockey
exactly.
players' journeys, I guess that's how this exists. Is everybody's is different, and no trail
Yeah.
goes the same way.
No, and I I think if you get the chance, opportunity, just take it. Don't
Yeah.
hesitate. Just that's what I did. I just, oh sure, I'm gonna start here, and took me to Allsvenskan, took me to SHL, and then I got the question to go to Russia. I was like, yeah, sure, do it.
Yeah.
Didn't hesitate.
You only
But
live once.
I have to tell you that when the plane was going down to land in Moscow, I was thinking, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm going to Russia, Moscow. I don't know anyone here. But
Except
turn
Greg
turn out great.
Squires.
Exactly. I got the friends for life in Kunlun too, in other players there.
Well, for sure. You play a
So
hockey season with guys. You do become friends for life.
yeah,
Oh,
we
maybe not with all of
because
them every season, but
but most of the guys, and we had like mostly North American guys in Kunlun too, so it was pretty easy. Everyone was speaking English, and my English isn't the best, but I think I can manage to
I
like.
think you're doing pretty fine. You're on an English podcast right
Ah, that's true, but some words are hard to say sometimes. But
now.
I can manage the. And it was fun to be around the North American guys and
Yeah.
being friends with them and all
I
the
I
players
always
around.
enjoyed having North Americans on my team. Because where you're born and raised kind of helps make you
Yeah,
who you are. And I found every Swedish guy I played with was my type of guy. I don't know
yeah,
why that is. But like they're very similar to Canadians, it seems like.
I think it is, and I think so too. Because when I have players in my team, I usually connect better with the North Americans. I think they are more humble, more down to earth, and more like they
But then
appreciate everything you do.
you get out in your shed though, and you start talking around, and you start figuring out where the pockets are. Guys are from around the world that seem to be like me. Um, for the most part, they're not from the big cities. They're not really
No,
from Toronto. They're from the small towns. They're not in the action. They're out of the action. They're
exactly.
small town boys that grow up and people talk and you have to be act a certain way in a small town or people talk and
Yeah,
they're good teammates and they're small town boys, you know.
exactly.
hmm Anywho, never met a bad Swedish guy yet.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Can't say that for every country though. So anyways, the first year you work for free and then you went back for more.
Yeah,
That
I
you
went
went
back
back to the
for
under 18s for a second year and you never got paid the whole first year and you were truck
never
driving
got
during the
paid
day.
exactly, and I went to the 20-year-old team, and then I went to Vita Hästen in Allsvenskan. That was actually my first pro year getting paid full time.
That so when was your first year getting paid full time?
2016 in Vita Hästen.
Vita to Haston. So that is
Yeah,
officially your full-time job. You gave up the truck
yep,
driving.
exactly.
Small world as I did briefly talk with that team, right? It wouldn't have been then. It was around 2014-15 when I was trying to figure out what to do when Denmark didn't want me
Oh,
back.
well, that's
Is,
pretty cool.
is that way up north?
No, it's just in the middle of Sweden, like under the middle of Sweden, I would say. Pretty
I'm trying.
south.
I think that's the team. I don't know. There was one or two sniffing around me from the second league in Sweden.
Hmm.
That summer when I decided to go to Cardiff and do the MBA. But anyways, one of the teams was supposed to be way up north.
Vita Hästen is pretty like in the
Mm.
middle of everything.
Anywho, I didn't go. Never been to Sweden. I got to Denmark. I saw that huge bridge and never crossed it, you know?
Uh, you have an opening welcome spot over here if you want to come.
I I
If you
I do
ever
need to check
come
it
to
out
Gothenburg,
sometime.
yeah, just come over to Gothenburg.
I
Bring
would
Dease
love to
and
see that
moose too.
barn in action.
Yeah,
hmm Geez, you know what? Maybe I should have been an equipment guy.
yeah, it should.
Eh? I could run a muck. Don't know how to
Yeah,
sharpen skates yet, but I could figure it out.
no, but I do the sharpening and you do the chirping.
I can chirp. I could definitely keep things light, but hold people accountable. So I guess there's teams that go up and down from the second league to the first league, but like how big of a difference is it from the Swedish elite league to that second league that I was looking at?
I would say like the top teams in the second league is around the same level as the bottom teams in the first league.
Yeah.
But if you take the top league in SHL and the middle team in Allsvenskan, it's a big difference.
Yeah.
They would
That makes
never
sense.
beat us.
No.
Yeah, they would never beat us.
No. And they probably have a lot more young kids in that league, right?
Yeah, and the top league gets more money from the television than the second league too, so
Yeah.
they can bring on the good players.
Well, I got a Swedish guy on. I would never try this stuff, but Snooze. That's a big deal over in Sweden, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I'm actually not doing it, but
Really? You're
everyone
like the
else is.
only
No,
Swedish guy I know
I'm
that
like the
doesn't
only
snooze.
guy, like the only hockey guy that not don't do snooze, but everyone else is doing it.
Everybody else.
Yeah, everybody else.
Do women do it too?
Some women, but they have like a lighter snooze, like
Right.
more minty.
That's hockey.
Yeah,
I remember one team, it was a team I'd been on, it switched. And then new guys came in, and I'm talking to some of my fellows the next year. They're like, their wives snooze. And I'm like, what?
yeah, yeah. That's Sweden.
That's hot.
If you go out and hook up with someone, you better make sure she takes out the snooze before you kiss her.
Oh, that's so awesome. I always heard, I didn't know if it was true or not. That's cool.
Yeah, that's true.
Ah, good stuff. Anywho, one of the guys you had Vita Haston, Cruz Reddick. I don't know the guy, but when the research team got hot, it looked like after that he went to the EIHL, my old honey hole, and ran amok for a few years.
Yeah, I actually think the other Canadian guy too went to. I think he went to Finland 1 year. Then he also went to Great Britain.
Yeah.
Jordan Rowley there. They played together. Can't
Lots of
remember the
people like
name,
to
but
end it in the UK. It's a fun
yeah,
league.
that was two great guys too. Also Canadian guys.
Yeah. Yeah, because I saw the one year you had the two Canadian guys, and then the next year they were like Norwegians or something. You had no Canadians.
Yeah, no,
No.
nothing.
So then you get your chance in the Swedish Elite League with Malmo. How does that go down? That's a pretty big day.
Actually,
You've only been doing it professionally for 2 years, and then you're in the
yeah,
Swedish Elite League, like one of the best leagues in the
yeah,
world.
yeah. It's unbelievable. My career it went fast for everything, but that was actually also by connections because the equipment guy in Malmö, his son-in-law was playing with the Hästen under me, so he asked him about me, and then he brought me down to Malmö. Actually,
And people talk.
yeah, people talk. That's you get a good rumor, and that's how you get your job.
Mm-hmm. So Malmo, you're there for 2 years. Why'd you
Uh,
end up leaving there? Where's Malmo? Is that a nice place
uh,
then? Are they one of the better
that's
teams?
on the other side of the bridge from
Is it?
Copenhagen. Yeah.
Really?
So if you went over the bridge, you would have come to Malmö.
Then I would have known where I was.
Yeah. Actually, it was because of COVID hit that year,
Mm,
and no one knew everything about the economy. Like, do we have money? What's going to happen next year? So I left. My contract ended that year too. Everything was like
up in the
insecure,
air.
insecure. Yeah. So and then Heston reached out and wanted me back. So it's like, sure, I can do 1 year. That's to have a just to have a job
Yeah,
because no one knew anything during COVID.
right. Oh, that
So
was
I
a
just
weird
took it,
time
went
of
back.
the world.
Yeah. So that's why I went back, just
Okay.
because to have something.
Yeah. Well, then there is a lot of hockey players like that, where it was like the jobs that were normally available weren't available, and then all of a sudden there's all these players trying to find jobs, and like to get a
Exactly.
job in Europe was not easy for anybody then. Mm-mm.
So that's why I just took the first thing that came up to have a job.
Well, when you're with
So
Malmo, I found it interesting. Not a North American on the squad, but
no,
7 Danes.
7 Danish guys.
The Danes can
So
play.
yeah, we had some good players there, and it's only like 25 minutes for them to drive from Copenhagen over to Malmö.
Makes
So
sense. So then basically it's
that's
almost like not really having imports because they're like from right there.
exactly. So and everyone's speaking Danish in the locker room, so you can't understand Danish if it's so bad. It's so bad.
I agree. I played there for 1 year.
Yeah, you know.
I have a gold helmet back there, but I had no idea what they were saying ever.
No.
Like, not a
So
clue. And
no.
I had just learned German. Like I was like almost fluent in German, and then they tell me to kindly leave. And then I go to a whole different country speaking a whole different language, and I'm like, oh, I'm not starting over again.
No. Let's stay with the English.
I just stuck with the English, and they asked me to leave after a year, and I'm like, yep, good thing I never learned that one.
Yeah.
There was no chance I was learning that language.
No, even I can't speak that.
The way
I
they
can
roll
understand
their tongue,
Norwegian.
and then the
Yeah.
you
Yeah, yeah.
know,
I can understand people from Norway, but the English is no, it's impossible.
I understand. One guy on your team there, though, in Malmo, I did muck it up against Nikolai Meyer.
That's a good guy, great player.
Yeah, he was in
Yeah.
Frederikshavn when I was in Sunderjyski, and he was
Ah,
just a young puppy. He was like 21, and I could tell he had the tools in the toolbox.
yeah.
He was up there like near the top 10 in scoring, so like I obviously had an eye on him. But we had a lot of games against them. They were a good team, but he was just a puppy. And then to see what he's done in
Yeah.
his career, he's done pretty well for himself.
Yeah, yeah. He was a great player there back then too in Malmö, but the coach didn't use him the right way, I think. So they put
That
him
could
like in the
happen.
fourth line
Yeah,
place when he should have been like in the top two
yeah, he's not a
places.
fourth liner.
No, no, no.
No. Anywho, hopefully that coach doesn't listen to us, even though didn't know what he was working with, but that guy shouldn't be on your fourth line.
No.
So then after Malmo, you go to the Vita Haston after through the COVID baloney, and then the
Yeah,
baloney's still going on when you end up with Kunlun, and then you're in Moscow.
yeah.
What was it like in the KHL?
It was unbelievable. Like that was the second best league back then before the war. And it was so awesome to see all the good players there, like watching them close
Yeah,
and being a part of it. So professional league, and yeah, of course I went there for the money and the experience, but it was so fun working with all the best players like
yeah,
outside NHL.
yeah. Oh yeah,
And
working with really good hockey players is fun.
yeah, we
Hmm.
had some really good guys in Kunlun too, like Jake Chelios, Ryan Sproul, Victor Barkley, all former NHLers and
And that
two
Yip
games.
was the captain, right?
Brandon Yip, great guy. What a guy.
I've heard good things about him.
Yeah, the Fu brothers was awesome players too. We had a bunch of good guys there,
Yeah,
and
that makes hockey fun.
yeah, and they took me in like part of the family too. So I was hanging out more with the players than the Russian staff.
Right.
So
And yeah, well, it makes sense. You guys are all away from home, right? There was a lot of
yeah,
Chinese passports on that team, you could say.
oh yeah, I was supposed to go to Olympics with the team for because Kunle was the Olympic team for China in ice hockey. I
Right.
was supposed to go to Olympics, but then there was some shady papers. They wanted me to sign, so I was like, well, I don't think I'm going.
Would have been cool to be part of the Olympics, though, eh?
It would have been cool, but
But
uh,
you
I
rather go
took
with Sweden?
this. I took the safe card before the risky card there.
Yeah.
Yes,
And if
to
you're
say like
meant to
that.
be in the Olympics, maybe it's with Sweden.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh man. One guy that was on that team, I'm pretty sure he played for the Sheffield Steelers that just won everything this year. Josh Nichols.
Neil Yashi, great guy too.
Yeah.
Josh Nichols, he was a great guy too.
I'm pretty sure he
He
was on Sheffield, unless I'm
Yeah, he
negative.
was on. He was on there. I just texted him congrats like a week ago
Yeah,
about it. So
they won it all. They won all the
yeah,
stuff. Hmm.
they've been a good team for long, right?
Yeah,
Sheffield.
but they hadn't really won any trophies for a couple of years, but they're always right there. They're always at the
Uh,
top. Same with Cardiff, my squad, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
they should
So
bring these over. Bring these back, and they will win.
actually, Cardiff's new equipment guy has a great story too, and I still have never had him in the shed. He has a little side gig where he makes wallets. I got a wallet back there with Wally 18 on it from him. He was the backup goalie, and they had no kit guy after Dease or whatever. The next guy that came in wasn't what they wanted. So then they didn't have an equipment guy, and the backup goalie started sharpening skates and doing all the stuff. And then he just transitioned right out of being the backup goalie into being the
Uh,
full-time equipment guy. And
you know
he's
what?
one of the boys that everybody loves.
I think I heard this story before. I think we had some Swedish team play against Cardiff, and the equipment guy told me that it was so. It was unbelievable. Like the backup goalie did a skate sharpening, then he went on to the bench.
Yeah,
I think I
that's
heard this story before.
Thomas Murdy. And
Yeah.
fun fact for the crowd is one time he cut his hand sharpening skates right before or during the game, and
Yeah.
like he was bleeding, and like got all lightheaded and whatnot. And he was supposed to be the backup goalie. And he like ruined his hand sharpening the skates. That's hockey.
I was happy that he didn't go into the net, that he had to go in with a broken hand.
I think it's pretty cool that like Cardiff has made the Champions League and playing against
Yeah.
teams like you guys and competing against teams like you guys, because I mean, I was a part of it back when we were in the old barn and it wasn't as professional as nowadays. And to see them in the Champions Hockey League with the backup goalie being also the equipment guy, it's like, yeah, that's cool.
You know, I have a story for you. You have to bring up with Dease next time you have him on. Ask him about the time he forgot the catch on the blocker on the dryer for the Swedish goalie and having grass. It melted.
He melted the goalie's glove and
Yeah,
blocker.
he melted the catcher. It was my buddy was the
from the other team, from his team
in grass. It was my buddy was the goalie.
Come on, Deese, be better. He had one job. Oh, there's probably a lot of good stories around the equipment game that get passed around, eh?
Yeah, it is. We have a lot of them.
So, actually, I saw your team this year. I think he's left now. You had a Fredrik Dickow from Voyance, Denmark on your team?
Yep. Fredrik Dickow. I had him actually back in Malmö too. He was in juniors back then.
Well, Voyance, Denmark is where I played. It's a tiny little town in Denmark. It's very little, and that's where I played. And they know how to make hockey players from that little town.
Yeah, he's actually a really good goalie. He has a top level that is unbelievable.
And he's still pretty young.
He's pretty young. He actually went to HV71 now in the other team in SHL.
Yeah, well, pretty neat that Voyance is making players like that, and they just won it again. Yeah. So maybe you'll play them in the Champions Hockey League. Did that draw happen?
Yeah, it's Skellefteå, Färjestad, and Växjö who's playing CHL next year.
You're not in it.
We're not in. It's only the top 3 teams since we came in on 4th place.
Oh, so you just missed it.
So we just missed it. Too bad. I love Champions Hockey League.
Yeah, that would be fun. Fun fact was the year we won in Denmark was the first year they were letting the Danish team in it the next season, and they didn't ask me back. So we win it. They earn their way to the Champions Hockey League. I'm second in the league in scoring, and then they tell me not to come back. And then I saw my buddies playing the Champions Hockey League. Actually, I didn't. I actually ignored it totally.
I can understand that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I would
it's
do
the same as like if you get put out first round. In those seasons, if I got put out first round in Germany, I'd head home and I wouldn't even know who won. Wouldn't give a shit.
No, I didn't watch the finals here in Sweden after we went out in the semi.
Once you're out, you're out.
Hockey is over for me now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, move on.
No,
it's the off season.
Yeah, it's only now it's golfing all the time now instead.
So does Sweden have some good courses around there?
It's really good everywhere. Just in Gothenburg, we have like, I don't know, 15 different courses around the city. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a big city then, eh?
Yeah, it's the second biggest in Sweden.
What's the biggest? That's a dumb question.
Stockholm.
Yeah.
Stockholm.
I knew it was a dumb question.
The capital.
As soon as you were going to say it, I knew as soon as you were going to say it, I was going to feel like an idiot.
Okay, so that's the second strike. You had Kovalev, now you had Stockholm. One more and
I never said I was smart. I said I like talking to hockey guys.
That's what Deese said too.
Deese said I wasn't smart?
No, I said you were a brain surgeon.
I have my MBA.
It's like you said, the more chirping, the more love.
Oh, Deese chirps me. There's no doubt. He chirps you too. I never even met you, and he sent a very inappropriate message to me about you.
He's been sending text message to me now too during the podcast.
Some of his chirps are sometimes a bit over the line, and he doesn't even realize where the line is.
No, he doesn't have the line.
No, he doesn't. But, that's why he's Deese.
both Dease and Moose has been texting me right now during the podcast.
They can't wait, eh?
I can't wait to hear
The boys are going to be on it. We're taking over the equipment game here in the shed, folks. All the equipment guys are going to come on soon. We're going to have the whole crew in. But seriously, it's like when I was a player, I never realized, like, I was always good with the equipment guys. I was always friends with them, especially if they were happy to be there and liked their job. But like when coaches, when teams talk, like a lot of times they will talk to equipment managers, right? About like, what's this guy like to deal with?
They surely do it. They often do that. Ask us what do we think about the other guys and players, and then we ask the equipment guys in the team before, how was he? And then we can tell the coaches that.
Yeah, and it's a small world, and what people say about you matters.
Exactly. I have one tip for all players. Always bring fika to the equipment guys.
Fika?
Swedish fika.
Finka.
It's like a cup of coffee and like a cinnamon bun or something.
Right. Show them you care.
Yep. Bring some fika.
So in Sweden, it's called a finka?
Fika.
Filka.
Swedish fika.
But no, like it makes sense. It's like if you're the equipment guy and you're doing all this for these guys, which you know what? I never did that for guys. I never did that for Dease. Probably because he chirped me so much. I'd rather punch him in the belly than give him a coffee.
You and me both.
But no, it makes sense. If you went and gave a guy something like that, he'll go the extra mile for you then too, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's all about like licking our asses. Give us whatever we want.
Get right in there.
Yep. We had one guy, you know, Ryan Lash.
I know the name.
No. Yeah, he's a big time player in Frolunda. He had his monthly wine for us equipment guys. Once a month, he brought a wine bottle to me and my colleague.
That's nice.
That's nice. And he got some extra stuff, extra stick here.
A little bit here, a little bit there, maybe a little extra sticks, little extra sticks for the summer. You know,
we're only humans. We're only humans. You can buy us too.
Yeah, oh yeah. I bought the guy in Bietigheim. He was my guy, Frankie. If other players were only allowed to like take home the 2 used sticks that were like in their stall at the end of the season. For me, if I slipped him a €50, I got all of them.
Yeah, that's how it works.
We're gonna get a whole new batch next season because I took them all.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it works. You can buy us.
I still have 1 or 2. I am using sticks from 2009-ish these days. Yeah. But they're still brand new.
Oh, that's perfect.
But it's true when you give whether it's the equipment guy something nice or say something nice, it's like I always say, it's like hockey players don't hear nice things about how they're playing very often. Usually they hear negative stuff. And it's like when you tell someone they did something good, usually they get a little bit excited and they'll be like, yeah, thank you. I'm going to go do it again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Well, I was like my under 13 boys. I had them to the shed before playoffs. Bought them all 2 Ales and Hockey Tales shirts with their names and numbers on the back. And they never lost another game for me.
Oh, that's perfect.
Right? 16 to 0 in the playoffs is pretty good.
You have to motivate the guys.
Right? And if you give them a shirt, they have to try hard for you.
Exactly.
So what is the schedule like in the Swedish Elite League? Do you play mainly weekends?
We play every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
Always. Some weeks it's only like Thursday and Saturday. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So you know guys don't have to practice that much.
No, we practice the days between there only, and always Sundays. Sundays is off. Yeah, it's a free day.
Yeah, well that sounds like a good schedule because I don't like where you practice all week waiting to play games. You know, I'd rather play a Tuesday game than practice. Yeah, and now we have 3 weeks off after our season ended 2 weeks ago, or last week. So we have 3 weeks off now, and then the summer training starts, and then we work out till the end of July. No, June, and then we have all of July off, and then we start up pre-season tournament in August. You're saying you guys work out in June? Yep, May and June. So you already have the
workout.
team selected by May and June, or is it just the guys that are local?
Now almost the whole team is set. It's like 3 or 4 players left to bring in.
So what if there's a Canadian guy in the squad? He's coming over for May and June to work out?
No. Usually the imports are working out at home.
Right. Because, yeah.
But all the Swedish guys move down to Gothenburg and work out together.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it would build a good team culture way before the season even starts, I guess, eh?
Exactly.
But the workouts aren't like trying to kill guys that they have to
It
kind of
is.
enjoy, is it?
It is killing guys like
Mm-hmm.
condition and strength, stuff like that.
Yeah, I've been through some workouts in Germany that nearly killed me.
Yeah. That's the hardest part during the season. That summer training.
Yes, because it's not playing hockey.
Nope, it's no ice, only
No.
workout.
And hockey players like playing hockey. At least I did.
Exactly.
I hated the summer workouts. Yeah.
That's why you have the dad body now.
Oh, hey, it was the same when I played. I'm in just as good a shape now. I just the breathing's a problem now. Now that a few people tried to body shame me right out of the game.
Yeah.
It's a body type issue, folks. I was dieting harder than anybody else.
I can relate. I have the same one.
Right? I should have been an equipment guy.
Yep, you fit in perfectly.
I feel like I'd have a lot of potential in that world. If Dease can do it, anybody can do it.
How hard can it be, right? If that idiot can do it, everyone can do it.
But it's funny because you could tell which guys are the hockey guys, like you, Moose, and Deese, that like you guys know how to hockey, that like once you do something, it's like, okay, well, that didn't work. So like let's try it this way. And then I can just picture the three of you having your setup that like you guys all know what needs to be done on game day. You all know what needs to be done. You have it all done in a timely manner, in ordered fashion, and it becomes easy once you know what you're doing, right?
Yep. You got the routine on it, like your system to do it, and it's easy.
Yeah.
Me and my colleague has a perfect setup too. We know what the other guys are doing without asking.
Yeah.
We know that everything's set up properly.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's how you get to those top leagues in the world, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So, curious question. You're in Frolunda, one of the biggest teams in Sweden. What is your aspirations as an equipment guy in your career? Are you happy where you're at, or is there somewhere else you want to fly?
The only thing left is NHL.
Right.
I've been doing the Worlds with the national team. I've been doing KHL. I think it's only NHL left. I wouldn't move outside out to Europe or something because I have it so good in Gothenburg and Frolunda.
Yeah.
So
and
NHL
how far
is
are you
like
from home then?
It's 3.5 hour drive. My hometown is on the East Coast and Gothenburg is on the West Coast.
Okay.
So, but Sweden is pretty narrow, so it's like 3.5 hour drive.
Yeah. Well, that's not too bad. You're close enough you can get there, but you're far enough away that people leave you alone.
Exactly.
Polite way of putting it.
Exactly. Yeah. The perfect distance.
Well, yeah, it's like when you're in Germany, it's like, well, I can't see nobody. And like back before technology, it's like, well, I guess I'll just see you when I'm back at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Nowadays you can definitely stay more connected when you're not home. But anywho. You got any questions for me? Nobody ever does. See?
No, I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
I thought it was all gonna be about me. I'm so egocentric here.
It is all about you. That's what it's about.
No, I looked you up too on the Elite Prospect. I saw that you've been playing in Denmark and Germany.
Yeah, pretty average career. All of the
not
the top leagues in Europe. You know, we were right there in the middle.
What was the league you ended up in? The last one. I didn't recognize that league.
After the UK.
Yeah.
That's back when I came here to Kincardine and like was done, and it's just local senior league where you play for free. See if you can get hurt. See if you can get hurt and go to work the next day.
Okay, sounds like our Division 4 hockey here in Sweden.
It's weird because it's as real as hockey gets when you get into playoffs and they play 3 best of 7 series, except nobody gets paid. Everybody's doing it voluntarily and they all have to go to work the next day. But everybody goes out there and mucks it up just like everywhere else.
It's like here, the lowest league.
Yeah, fun fact was my last playoff drive in that league. I went septic in the finals. We were down 3-1 in the finals. I went septic and nearly died. And I got to go to work with an IV in my arm for 16 straight days.
Oh, fuck. That's a tough one.
Yeah, it was. But I did show up for work still, and I still got the job done, even with a with an IV in my arm.
Fuck, that's hardcore.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was.
Did
It
it
was
for free
actually
too.
fun to see. It was actually fun to see your. I never heard about your podcast before. Before Moose reposted it, so
yeah,
I've
you
been
know,
listening to
what
a
I
few
just figured
episodes
out
now.
what to do because I suck at social media. Like I'm more of a talker. I really don't know what I'm doing. I had on the YouTube sensation Robert Greeley that's traveling Europe showing the hockey stuff, and I had him on, and he goes, "Make me a collaborator." I'm like, "What does that mean?" And he's like, "Make me a collaborator so I can share it too." So I did it, and then I saw that like once he accepts it, it shows up as like his post too, and I'm like, so I could have been doing that for the last 350 episodes, and all these guys could have shared it, and it would have gone out to way more people. I'm like, be better, Walton. So I'm gonna make you a collaborator. If you accept it, then it'll go to all your friends too, and then all of a
I'm
sudden
gonna do
this
it.
thing could explode, right?
Yeah, do it. I'm gonna repost it too. So
Well, because that's how me and you got in contact was Maxie sharing it,
exactly.
and that sharing is caring, and it gets me out there because I only have a director of shed marketing. He's a 12-year-old in Manchester. He throws a lot of chocolate on the ice. So he's my marketing director, and he's taking care
Is
of
he the
everything
one
in
throwing
Manchester,
guts?
but he hasn't been to Sweden yet. You know, he hasn't
Yeah.
got he hasn't got the name out there yet. So we'll have to wait for you to get it out there.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna do it. That was awesome being on here. It was an
No,
honor.
seriously, great getting to know you, and it's true. Shed guys
Yeah.
do know shed guys, and Frolunda is
Yeah.
officially my favorite team in the Swedish Elite League.
Perfect. I'm gonna try to send you some clothes from Frolunda
Please
over to you.
do. I would
Yeah.
seriously, when I get something like that, man, it makes doing all this, all the extra time I put into this, it's all worth it because of all the fun happening. But when I do get fun gifts in the mail, it just melts my heart. You know.
Next time we should do a big podcast with Dease and Moose on it
We
too.
should.
All
I've
of
had
us,
those two on
four
together. It's quite
guys.
the time. We'll get you on
Yeah.
with them next time.
Yeah. I'm not gonna get a fucking air say a word. They're gonna talk all the time.
Yeah, we just got to
That would
make
be
sure
fun to
Deese has his filter on, you know?
make sure he has some clothes on first.
Yeah, nobody needs to see that.
No, no.
I've seen that enough in my lifetime.
Yeah, I bet you have.
Yeah. Ah, man. Well, no, seriously, great getting to know you. And
Same
I'm
to
not
you.
wrong again. Shed guys, no shed guys.
Honor. It was an honor being on here.
What is your nickname? Strawmy?
Stromy?
What's your nickname?
My nickname.
Yeah,
Andy?
there's Moose, there's Deese.
Ah, it's Andy.
Just Andy.
Yeah, Andy.
Just Andy. Okay.
I have a Maverick. It's when I'm playing video games with my buddies, but it's Andy. Everyone in the hockey world knows me as Andy.
As Andy. Well, there we go,
Yeah.
folks. And now, everybody, shed folks, you now know that Frolunda is our favorite team in the shed and in Sweden, and their equipment guy is a shed guy. And this has been another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Andy and Wally.